My name is Romy Phillips, and I'm streaming live here from Columbia, Maryland. And I just wanted to make sure you have what you need before we get started. So I just have some props here. Block for sure today. If you have something that you can even use to support yourself like that, that would be helpful. A block or anything that you feel is stable in your house that you can use. A strap is optional, and the blankets are also optional. You can always use pillows or cushioning in your home, right? So this theme is I had a special request from someone yesterday about working with the hips. Just one thing about the hips and hip opening, it's not always external rotation. That's what we always think about with hip opening. There's also neutral rotation and hip flexion. So I'm going to take you through a hip extension as well when we extend the hip. So I'm going to take you through the different range of movements in your hip in a sequence that kind of will help us to release tension and just give a sense of surrender, letting go, all right? So we're going to start lying on our backs, all right? I want you to lie down, and I have two blocks here. Now you can always use a couple blankets or two cushions in your home, and we're going to lie down in a Supta Baddha Konasana. All right, so the soles of the feet are together. And you just place these blocks here underneath your thighs so that the hips start to open up gradually and gently. So what I'm wanting to feel is like my pelvis resting evenly on the floor. I can start to breathe fully and completely into the body, like my torso. I just let our hands rest by our hips, palms facing up. And then feeling your shoulders resting evenly on the floor. And even here, I'm starting to feel some tension release in my lower back. Inhale through your nose. Exhale, soften and release. And stay here for a few moments, gradually releasing the tension out of our body with each exhalation. And just feel your thighs get heavier, like you're just let the block support your legs. That's one aspect of opening the hips, just releasing the tension or the muscles around your hip joint or in your pelvis. Couple more breaths. Inhale, breathe into your chest. Exhale, soften and let go. Breathe softly. Expand into your rib cage and slowly letting it go. Good. Now from here, just move your blocks slightly to the side and then carefully bring your knees up. Knees are bent. So bring your right knee to your chest. And then straighten your left leg out along the floor, Ekapadanapanasana. So I want you to press that left heel down and pull the right thigh towards your chest. Push through the ball of your left foot and press your left thigh down towards the floor, even pressing your sacrum into the floor, right? Like this grounding in the sacral area, the heel and the calf. Let's change sides. Left leg pulls up. Right leg extends, push your heel into the floor, let your calf press against the floor, sacrum resting, and just pulling your left thigh up towards your chest. And then feeling that you're extending from the top of your right hip through the right knee, and then just let your left thigh come to your chest. Okay, now release. Okay, bend both knees. We're going to be on our backs for a little while. This is setting us up for a standing sequence. A lot of these poses will relate to our bodies when we stand up. So bring the right knee up to your chest, keep the left leg bent. Bend the right leg and reach up and hold on to the outer edge of your right foot. It's almost like you're doing half of a happy baby. The inner thigh is brushing the outer rib cage. Try to get your knee to come down towards your armpit. Notice how this foot is flexed, the heel and knee line up. Place your left hand on your left hip bone and gradually straighten out this left leg. So it's almost like we're in a high lunge on our backs, right? So push through that left heel Keep pressing to the ball of the foot. Now keep pulling the right knee down towards your armpit as your foot flexes. Now the whole idea is that I'm feeling a lot of stretch here in my psoas muscle, right? So that's also part of our whole hip opening. We're getting into the psoas. Now push into your right heel on the ball of your foot, gently pulling the right knee down towards your armpit. The inner right thigh touches the outer right rib cage, and just stay here and breathe. So if you were standing up in a lunge, this would be the same position, right? You will do that later. Good, and then slowly release, and let's change sides. Bending the left leg, bring the knee to the armpit, right? So the knee comes down, inner right thigh brushes the outer rib cage, and then start to straighten this leg. So it may not completely straighten. I've just done this a lot, so maybe when I first did this, it was hard to straighten. This side is actually tighter, if you can see that. So I'm just trying to push through the ball of the foot. Feel the inner right thigh move down towards the floor, and just keep pulling that foot up towards the ceiling, flexing your foot. It's like you're lunging on your back, right? So it's like a high lunge on your back, and the knee comes down towards your armpit. Stay here and breathe. And then slowly release. Okay. So you should start feeling this in the hips a little bit already. So next stage, we're going to do a thread the needle variation. So place your right ankle on top of your left thigh. The whole idea is that the ankle and the knee line up, and I'm pushing to the ball of this foot. We are doing this twice, so the first one is a little bit less intense. I want your hip bones to line up. Reach through and hold on to the back of your left thigh, right? And I want you just to first maybe get your right elbow inside of the right thigh if you can. If it doesn't touch, don't worry. You're just moving this leg back and forth. So we will do some dynamic movement in our sequence. So the inhalation, the arms are straight. Exhale, pull the left knee in towards your chest. Inhale, legs, arms straighten. Exhale, pull in. Inhale, straighten your arms. Exhale, stay here and hold and breathe. Keep pushing through the ball of your right foot, flex your foot, and then stay here breathing, pulling that left thigh to your chest. Deep inhale and exhale. Good, and release. Let's change sides. Oh, boy, already. So ankle, again, and kind of notice too the angle of your knee and your ankle. This is kind of like indication of the natural range of motion for your hip, right? My hip bones is squared off. Now reach through and hold on to the back of your right thigh. Thread the needle with the legs. Stay here and breathe. Press your sacrum down. And then the arms are straight. Pull the leg away. And then exhale, pulling in. Inhale. Release the hands. Exhale, pull in slowly. And once again, inhale, reach. Exhale, pull that right knee in towards your chest and stay here and hold. Flex your foot. Push to the ball of your foot. And good. And then slowly release and come down. All right, so stage 2. So think about all these things we're doing on the floor as like an exploration. How are your hips feeling? Is there one hip tighter than the other? Do you feel symmetrical, asymmetrical? Think of it as an exploration, right? So this time, once again, thread the needle. We're going to go a little deeper this time. So if you want to, if you felt the first version was a little like not so challenging, like behind your calf, on your hamstring, this time you're placing your hands on your shin. Now, if this is too tight, then go back to holding onto the back of your thigh, right? So interlace your fingers on your shin, press to the ball of your foot. Your elbows inside of the right thigh if possible. This time we're going to curl up and move dynamically. So there'll be a little bit of abdominal into this. So if your neck bothers you, just stick with moving the leg back and forth. Inhale, exhale, curl up. Bring your head up towards your ankle and bring your left knee to your forehead and slowly come down. Inhale, exhale, curling up. So I'm scooping up my belly. My chin comes to my chest. And slowly coming down. Inhale, exhale, curl up. Bring your head up towards your knee. Stay here and hold for a moment. Pull that left thigh to your chest. And slowly release. And bring your foot to the floor. And let's change sides. So this is the last part of the sequence. Ankle on top of the thigh. Thread your hands through. Hold on to the right shin. Pause first. Keep your left foot flexed. Inhale, exhale, curl up. Bring your head up towards your knee and slowly coming down. Inhale, exhale, curl up, shoulders off the floor. So notice how I'm tucking my chin in towards my chest. My shoulders come off the floor and come down. Inhale, exhale, curl up. Bring your head up towards your ankle and slowly come down. And last time, come up and stay up here. Chin to your chest, shoulders off the floor. Bring your right knee forward towards your forehead as much as you can. Shoulders off the floor. And slowly release. Okay, so feet hip width apart and pause. So just to release what we've done, we'll just do a little dynamic bridge. Feet are hip width apart. Place your hands down by your heels. Well, inhale, lift up, arms over my head, and exhale, rolling down one vertebra at a time. Let's just do this 3 times. Inhale up, lift your hips up, chest opens and reach. And exhale, upper back, mid back, hands and hips come down simultaneously. Inhale, push through the feet, arms up and lift. And exhale, slowly lower down. And pause. Okay. Knees to your chest, Apanasana. Just gently rock from side to side. And endless roll over onto our hands and knees. And we're just going to come into child's pose. Okay, so just come into a nice Balasana. Toes together, knees apart. Allow your hips to sink back toward your heels. Lift your hands forward. Spread your fingers and firm your arms in. Let your rib cage be supported by your inner thighs. And just press and reach. Good, and then slowly coming up. Just a quick down dog to transition, right? Just to get off the floor. Your knees can be bent for this first one. And let's just walk up to the top of the mat. We're just going to walk forward. And then slowly rising up, inhale up. And hands down. All right, so let's start in Tadasana. We're going to set up for Surya Namaskar A. In case there's some new people joining me today, I'll demonstrate the first sun salutation. I know some of you have been following along each class, so you have gotten some of the fundamentals down, but there's some new people today. So let me just review Surya Namaskar A. So starting in Tadasana, hands down by your side, collarbones wide. Rooting down through your feet, find a neutral pelvis. Inhale up. Exhale, bow forward, Uttanasana. You can bend your knees if you like. Inhale, look forward. Ardha Uttanasana, extend your spine, lengthen your chest forward. Step back into plank. Now, from here, press into your palms. Firm your thighs, so push your heels towards the wall behind you, chest forward. Lift your belly, push off the floor from your thighs. Draw your tailbone towards your heels. Keep looking forward. For this first Surya Namaskar, we're going to come all the way down to the floor. So Chaturanga, knees to the floor, and come all the way down. Move your fingers back behind your shoulders and press down with your palms. Point your toes and lift your chest up. Collarbones wide. Bhujangasana Cobra. Now you're welcome to stick with Cobra. If you like, you can come into Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, upward facing dog. And downward facing dog and shift back. Feet hip width apart. Spread your toes. Feel your heels descending down towards the floor. They don't have to touch, right? And in fact, if your hamstrings are tight, bend your knees a little bit. Lift your tailbone up. Push into your palms and firm your arms in. Lift your abdomen, lift your belly. Keep pressing down, several breaths. Notice how my head is relaxed, my neck is relaxed. Good, and then walk your feet up to your hands. Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale down. Press into your feet. Arms floating up. Inhale. And hands down by your side. Tadasana. Let's do this again. Straight Namaskar A. Inhale up. Exhale, bow forward. Uttanasana, head down. Inhale, lengthening. Ardha Uttanasana. Stepping back into plank. Now, for those of you who are following along, you can try coming into Chaturanga Up Dog. Chaturanga Up Dog. And downward facing dog. Shift back. Several breaths here. Arms forming. Push down to the inner edges of your palms, thumbs, and index fingers. Lift your front ribs. Feel your inner arms lifting up toward your ears, outer arms down towards the floor. Good. Walk your feet up to your hands. Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale down. Press through your feet, arms floating up, and hands down. All right. So we're going to do this one more time and stay in downward facing dog. Okay? Inhale up. Exhale, bow forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, lengthening, Ardha Uttanasana. Step back to plank. Chaturanga, elbows in. Up dog, lift your chest. Downward facing dog, hold. So just stay here and breathe. Lift your tailbone up. Maybe bend your knees if you have to. Okay. From here, we're going to work with the high lunge. Okay. So just bend your knees and come to the floor and watch for a moment. Right. So from down dog, we're ideally coming all the way up into this high lunge. We're firming the hip in. We did this lying down on our backs. If you need blocks, this is a good time to use blocks. So you can bring the front a little bit and work on getting your rib cage to touch your thigh. Right? So I'm just going to show you from the left. Right? So foot up. Scoot your foot up if you have to. I want your thigh to be parallel to the floor. Rib cage can touch your thigh. And you can have your hands on the floor, fingertips, or blocks. Okay, let's just do that right and left. So from down dog, right foot up. Scoot your foot up. So we were lying down doing this lunge. Now we're actually in the lunge. I want you to shift forward so the knee is directly over your heel. See if you can bend this leg and get your hip to firm in, right? Notice how this left thigh is lifting up away from the floor. Stay here and breathe. Chest reaches forward. All right, so we're flexing the hip and extending the hip on one side. Right hip is flexed, and the other side, left leg is extended. So change sides. Good. Left foot comes forward. Bend that leg. Use your blocks. Push into your left foot. Right thigh lifts up. Chest reaches forward. Really hug in. So this hip hugs in. And notice how this thigh is parallel to the floor. This is really getting into my hip and even the lower back a little bit, right? Now press back. Downward facing dog. Good. Right foot comes forward. Now from here, we're going to come up and place our hands on our hips. Anjaneyasana Crescent Pose. Notice how my left leg is slightly bent. When I get, like I said, hip extension. Bend this right leg. Instead of tilting over my hips, can I lift my chest up, lift my frontal hip bones, and bring my arms up? Stay here and hold and press your right heel to the floor. Lift up, breathe. Lift your back ribs. Keep breathing. And bring your hands to the floor and step back to downward facing dog. Good. Left foot forward. Coming up, Crescent Pose, lift your frontal hip bones, bend your right leg, and then really press into that left heel. Keep your hip bones lifting, arms lift, reach, frontal hip bones lifting up, bend the right leg, reach through your fingertips. Good, everyone. Bring your hands to the floor and step back to downward facing dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Press into your palms and head down. Okay, now walk your feet up to your hands. Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale down. Press into your feet. Arms up and hands down. Okay, we're just going to step to the side for just a couple standing poses before we move on. This is all about the hips again, right? So standing in the middle of your mat, Tadasana, middle of your mat, open your legs wide, right? This is going to be like a hip exploration again. We're going to do Dynamic Warrior 2 and then Vrikshasana. So notice how your feet are parallel to the edges of the mat. Arms extending to the side. And just stay here for a moment. I want you to press down with your feet. Firm your thighs. Lift your frontal hip bones. Draw your tailbone down, right? So if I turn to the side for a moment, you just stay there where you are. It's like, instead of being here, I want my tailbone down, and I lift. So even here, I get some space right here, right in front of my thighs, like the hip flexors. So stay there, arms to the side, lifting. Okay, now turn your left foot in, right leg turns out. So we're going to move dynamically through Warrior 2. So first, my arms are up. I'm lifting to the sides of my waist. I press down to that left foot. This is my inhalation. Exhale, bend. Let your knee and toes lining up. Look towards your right hand, bend. Inhale, up. Lift with the sides of the waist. Exhale, bend. Look towards your right hand. Inhale, up, reach. And then exhale, press and stay here. So I'm wanting this thigh to move parallel to the floor. My right hip releases under. I lift my chest. Look towards your right hand. Pause, move your shin forward, hold. So the whole idea is that the thigh is moving back as my right hip tucks under. Okay, now slowly come up. Turn the right leg in. Left leg turns out from the hip. Inhale, up. Exhale, look towards your left hand. Inhale, up. Exhale, press your heel down. Inhale, up. Exhale, press your thigh open and hold. And once again, just take your time to mentally focus on externally rotating this left thigh. The left hip draws under, your chest is lifting. Pressing through your heel. Keep firming this back leg. Reach with the arms and lift your chest. Good, and then slowly coming up, turn your left foot in. Hands on your hips. Inhale and exhale, bring your hands to the floor. Prostrate Padottanasana A. So you can use a block if you need to. If you can touch, or two blocks if you need two blocks right from here. But otherwise, bring your hands so they're shoulder width apart, and then just bow your head forward. Shift the weight into the center of your feet. Lift your shoulders up. Draw your elbows in. Inhale, looking forward, extend your spine, place your hands on your hips, and then slowly come up, Tadasana. Okay, Vrikshasana, right? Tree pose. If you need balance, a little extra balance, you can come to the wall or use a chair if you have something in your space that you're working with. Starting with bringing your leg up. Start with the right. Bring your foot up. See if you can bring your foot up to your inner thigh. If you have to go lower, it would give you calf or here, but I'm trying to kind of get the hips. So I encourage you, even if you have to hold on to the ankle, right, that's okay, because I'm really getting a lot of external rotation, or I can just feel the muscles that will help me to external rotate my hip. Firm this outer hip in, lift up. And then when you're ready, just take your hand away and then hold. Find center, just focus on hugging in towards the midline, pressing your foot against your thigh. Good, and release. All right, so just kind of understanding what muscles help us to rotate our hip, externally rotate our hip. Bring your foot up, and either on your inner thigh, calf, or ankle, maybe take a moment just to really use your hand to help you press the foot against the inner thigh so you really feel that connection, right? But at the same time, the hip firms in, so you lift up. Palms together, Vrikshasana, hold, breathe. Lift up through the crown of your head, lift up out of your ankle, out of your knee. Good, and release. Tadasana. Okay. So we're going to continue now, and we're just going to keep going through just first another vinyasa, and then we'll do standing poses. I'm just breaking it up, right? So let's start with coming to the top of your mat. Have your blocks handy just in case you need them. We're starting at the top of the mat. Tadasana. Utkatasana. So bend your knees and press down with your heels. Inner thighs releasing down to the floor, arms up. Exhale, bow forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, lengthening, Ardha Uttanasana. So we're going through Surya Namaskar B. Step back into plank. Chaturanga, either come to the floor or try to hover if you can. Up dog, lift your chest. And downward facing dog. The right foot comes forward between your hands. Spin the outer edge of your left foot down. Virabhadrasana 1. So press into that right heel. Lift your arms up. Warrior 1. Exhale. Lower down. Chaturanga. Look beyond the top of your mat. Firm your arms in. Up dog. Lift your chest. Downward facing dog. Left foot forward. Virabhadrasana 1. Press into the outer edge of your right foot. Lift your arms. Exhale. Lower down. Chaturanga. Gaze beyond the top of your mat. Up dog. Lift your chest. Downward facing dog and hold. The feet are hip width apart. Spread your toes. Press into your hands, so the entire width of your palms are rooting down. Thumb, index finger, and ridge of your palms. And really lift your tailbone up. Now look forward. Step up or hop if you'd like. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale down. Utkatasana. Inhale up. So bend those knees. Get your hips to drop down. Your arms lift. And press up. One more time, Surya Namaskar B. Utkatasana, inhale up. Exhale, bow forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, lengthening, Ardha Uttanasana. Step back to plank. Chaturanga, up dog, and down dog. Right foot forward, Virabhadrasana 1. Press your back foot down, arms up, Vira 1. Lower down, Chaturanga, elbows in. Up dog, lift your chest. Down dog. Left foot forward, Virabhadrasana 1. Press into the outer edge of your right foot, lift your arms up. Lower down. Take your time, all right? I'm just going through a nice pace here. Chaturanga, up dog, lift, and downward facing dog. Good. So everyone just pause here in Adho Mukha Svanasana. Keep lifting your hips. Spread your fingers. Head is neutral, so make sure there's no tension in your neck. Okay, now instead of hopping up, let's just stay here in warrior one for a moment, okay? Right foot forward. So the outer edge of your back foot down, and let's come into Virabhadrasana 1. Now I want us to focus on this front thigh right now. Moving it so it's parallel to the floor. Think about our high lunge of our back. That is how my left hip is extended. I do want to try to get my left hip forward, right? Let's lift the arms up and reach to the back of the waist. Chest is lifting up. Bend your right leg, push into your heel. Look up and look up. Good. Look ahead, and maybe if you can, bring your palms together. Exhale, release. Change sides. Just step back. Let's change legs. Left foot forward. Virabhadrasana 1. Push with the outer edge of the right foot. Draw this right hip forward, inner right thigh back. And just press that left heel down. So we're getting this thigh to move parallel to the floor. This is opening the right side of my hip, right? Right side of the pelvis. So lift up. Lift from the back of the waist. Fear 1. Breathe, inhale. Exhale, bend. And reach up if you can. Bring your palms together. If there's too much in your shoulders, keep them apart. And exhale, release. Step back to downward facing dog and hold. Good, a couple breaths here. Everyone walk your feet up to the top of your mat. Inhale, lengthening Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale down. And let's just come into a chair pose. Just sit for a moment. Utkatasana, bend your knees. Put weight in your heels. Arms up. Shift your weight back a little bit into your heels. Inner thighs releasing down. And press up to standing. All right. So just building up some heat. We built up some heat with Sternum Namaskar B. Now we're ready to work with a couple more standing poses that get into our hips, and we're going to be doing Trikonasana and Ardha Chandrasana. Okay? First thing I'd like us to do is just to come into Trikonasana. So open your legs wide. Once again. Feet are parallel to the edges of the mat like this. Once again. So maybe this feels a little easier, right? Lift your frontal hip bones, draw your tailbone down, push out to the feet, firm your thighs, and reach up the crown of your head. Left foot in, right leg turns out, heel arch alignment and lift. Triangle pose, Trikonasana. Inhale, reach. Bring your hand down to the block behind your ankle. Left arm up, chest open. Stay here, pause. Now, I want us to focus on the hips here a little bit. So as I press down to the inner edge of my right foot and firm my right thigh, I'm drawing this right hip under, right? Underneath. And at the same time, I'm opening my chest, right? Push through the outer edge of your left foot. Stay here and breathe. Keep reaching to the crown of your head. Good. Inhale up. Right leg turns in, left leg turns out. Heel to arch alignment. Good. Trikonasana, other side. Bring your hand down behind your leg. Arm up. So same thing. Really focus on drawing that left hip under and start to open up the right side of your body. Reach up. Grounding down through your feet. Inner edge of the left foot. Outer edge of the left foot. Right foot. Just reach up. Reach. Reach up to the fingertips. Reach to the crown of your head. Good. And then slowly coming up. Turn your feet parallel. Okay, so stay there for a moment. We're going to do Tadasana A again, but I want us to place our head on a block. Right, this is going to release our hips and lower back. So if you need 2 blocks, you can go here like this, and the head can rest on the blocks. Or you can do 1 block, right? So one is just to find the legs again. So rooting down to your feet, firm your thighs. Let's place our hands on our hips. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, come forward. Tadasana A. And let your head rest on the block. Move your fingers behind your toes if possible. But the hands are shoulder width apart. Lift your shoulders up and draw your elbows in and stay here and breathe. I want you to focus on shifting the weight into the center of your feet. Firming the front of your thighs, stay here and hold. Lift your shoulders up. Good. Inhale, lift up. Lengthen your spine. Look forward. Hands on your hips. Press up to standing, and let's come to Tadasana. All right, so now we're ready for Ardha Chandrasana. This is a balancing pose, but it's also a lot of work in the hip. I'm just going to show you an option. If I run a class where we could be against the wall, I will show you some options that you can try at home if you're still challenged with balance a little bit. You're welcome. I don't have enough wall space, but you're welcome to work with your back against the wall. I can also demonstrate a variation where you can have your foot on the wall. So you would just simply have the block here and lift your leg up and press your foot against the wall and then open, right? Your standing foot is pointing forward, right? Now I'm just going to show you the pose. We're going to practice the pose. I'm going to practice it from the middle of my mat, right and left, and you're welcome to try that, okay? So put a block behind each foot again. The legs are open wide, extend to the fingertips, ankles lining up underneath your wrists. Left foot in, right leg turns out. So just bend your right leg for a moment and bring your hand down to this block. I'm going to keep my left hand on my hip just so I have a little more balance. I'm just trying to move my body into one plane here. I'm stepping with the left foot. Move the block away from the right foot. So finding length in the right side of my body. This right hip draws under, and I ground you straight in this right thigh. Push through that left foot, open your chest, and then the left arm floats up. Stay here and hold. Now floating back, warrior 2, heel to arch alignment, and let's just come up into Virabhadrasana 2 just for a moment to transition out of the pose. Nice bend in the front leg, and then straighten the right leg. Right leg turns in, left leg turns out. Other side, half moon pose, Ardha Chandrasana. So bend your leg, place the block by your ankle, hand on your hip for some balance and stability. Step in with the back foot, then take the block away from the front foot. Keep going until the side of the body is lengthened. Now push through your heel and reach the arm up, chest opens. Stay here and hold. Keep rooting down to the inner edge of your standing foot. Lift your thigh, chest opens. Okay, now floating back. Warrior 2 to transition out just for a moment. Virabhadrasana 2, stay here and press up, turn your foot in, and step your feet together. Oh, you should be feeling this now from the waist down, right? Okay, so the last part of this hip opening sequence before we get to the floor, okay, is Balasana. All right, so we separate the feet slightly, not too wide. I'm turning my feet out. I'm turning my legs out like a sort of rotation because I want my knees to line up over my toes, right? And I'm just going to squat and bring my elbows inside of my thighs. Now, some of you, if you have to sit on a block, you can sit on a block, right? Sometimes it's better to sit on a block for some of you and press your thighs open with your elbows and lift your chest. Good. Or if your hips are kind of opened up and your knees are okay, you can just simply squat, elbows pressing the thighs together, lift your chest. So stay here and lengthen the lumbar spine, lift your chest. You probably can't see this detail, but I'm lifting the inner arches of my feet, so I'm trying not to roll into the inner arches of my feet. Chest lifting. Press your palms together and just press your elbows against your inner thighs and knees. Lift your chest up. Keep breathing, lift your chest and drop those hips. Just feel your hips dropping down towards the floor, chest lifting up. Great, and then slowly, carefully come up. Keep your knees lining over your toes, and then turn your feet back to parallel. Walk them in so they're slightly apart and just bow forward once again. Uttanasana, just release the lower back and hips. Okay, I want everyone to come onto your knees for a moment. And just watch. So from here, Gomukhasana, legs, right? So yesterday we did this after Tadasana. So from here, cross your right leg over the left and sit in between your heels. I'm sitting on a block, so I'm going to turn around and show you from the back, right? So I'm turning around to show you. The thighs cross, and I sit in between the heels. Right? So I'll just turn around and face you. Walk your hands forward and just press your hips into the floor. Let's just start to surrender a little bit. Like this idea that we are now on the floor, and it's very grounding to be on the floor. We can just press into our hips, let our head come down. Breathe deeply as you exhale. And now slowly come up and let's change sides. Recross your legs. Sit in between your heels. It might feel different from one side to the other. Like my right hip is significantly tighter than my left hip. And just through practicing yoga, I try to bring as much symmetry to my body as possible. So it's just taking the time to observe and just bringing that awareness about what you're experiencing in your body. Now press down with your sit bones and just bow in. Deeply exhaling, allow yourself to release. And then slowly coming up. So if you have time, you can always sit in this pose a little bit longer. It's very relaxing, very restorative. We're just going to move on from here because we always run out of time so quickly here. So have a seat for a moment. Okay, I'm just going to sit for a moment and we're going to come into some seated postures here. So I want you to sit, I'm sitting on a blanket. All right, so Tadasana, hands by my hips. I'm just going to twist a little bit, right? We're just going to do a little twisting. So I'm going to do, we've been working with Marchasana C a lot, but we're going to do something to prepare for that a little bit better today. We're going to do what we call Marchasana 0, where we twist out. So notice how my right leg is bent, the knee and heel line up, stamp the foot down. The right arm comes up. So today, my elbow comes inside of my thigh like this. So I press the thigh and arm together. Stamp your foot down, lift from your lower back. And notice how I'm turning out, right? So it's like an open twist. My thigh and arm pressed together, so resistance between the arm and leg. So it gives me some leverage to turn and revolve. Turn from the rib cage. They keep lifting up. So this is kind of release the torso a little bit. Keep breathing and lift up. Lift up through the crown of your head. Turn from the rib cage. So yesterday we did a lot of twisting. So going back to some twists again. And other side. Bending your left leg. Place your foot on the floor. Right hand behind you, left elbow inside. Press down through your foot. Inhale, lift. So notice how I press the arm against my knee and thigh. And turn and revolve from the rib cage. Press your foot down, lift up to the crown of your head. And come back to center. All right, so stay here in Tadasana. Now let's twist a little deeper. So now we go into Marchasana C. Knee over your heel, right hand behind you, lift your left arm up, inhale. And we'll try to close the gap between the rib cage and the thigh. Notice how my knee is under the armpit. Press the thigh, press your outer thigh against your outer arm and lift your chest up, turn and hold, revolving. And come back. Other side, everyone, and then we're finishing up soon. Get your knee over your heel, stamp your foot down, left hand behind you, right arm up, inhale, lift. And then hook, close the gap between the rib cage and thigh, press down to your foot, inhale, lift up. Keep reaching up to the crown of your head, ground your right leg into the floor, lift up. And just keep moving your rib cage. Good, and release. Okay. Paschimottanasana. Okay, so a nice forward bend here. Sitting with your hands by your hips. Place the strap if you need it. I'll just demonstrate with the strap. So we want to lengthen the lumbar spine. We want to prevent this rounding. So you want to tilt your pelvis slightly forward and lengthen your lumbar spine. Walk your hands towards your feet. So you notice how my front body is lengthening towards my toes. Then if you can, you hold on to the outer edge of your feet. That's only if you can, right? Inhale, lengthen, exhale, reach out. Stay here and hold. Let your head come down towards your shins. Press down through the back of your legs, the calves, hamstrings, sit bones. Deeply exhaling, softening. Good, inhale, lengthen, look forward, and slowly rising up. Good. All right, so let's get ready to be on our backs. We're going to do some things to wind down on our backs. So we had a challenging practice. I'm just going to wind down very slowly. Today we're just going to do a supported bridge today. All right. Just bend your knees first. Reach down and touch your heels with your fingertips. We take a block, lift the hips up, and let your sacrum rest on the block. So notice how my lower back is free, right? And my lumbar spine does not touch the block. I'm pinning my shoulders down. And I'm going to stay here first just to feel the pelvis settle on the block. And even here, I'm starting to feel the muscles in my lower back release tension. The muscles in my abdomen are releasing tension. And then those of you who are familiar with this variation of shoulder stand on the block, you're welcome to lift your legs up if you feel like it, just to get a little inversion in. And we'll focus on some inversions next weekend, right? I'm just trying to build up a series of classes that relate to each other. So Reach up through the balls of your feet if you're doing this, or just keep your feet on the floor. Okay? So just relax first for a few moments here. Breathing softly, just a few more breaths. And now carefully, everyone, take the block away and then come all the way down to the floor. Just relax on your back for a moment. Okay, so let's just wind down with a little twist, and then before we do Shavasana, just bring your knees to your chest, gently rocking from side to side, massaging your back. Good, now place your feet on the floor and shift your hips over to the left, cross your right thigh over the left, and bring your knees all the way over to the right towards your left shoulder and twist. Collarbones wide, let your shoulder blades rest on the floor possible. So if the knees are on the right, we're trying to get this left shoulder to press down. Chest opens. Good, and then come back to center. Unfold your legs. Shift to the right. Cross the left leg on top. Bring your knees over and look towards your right shoulder. Allow your thighs to drop down towards the floor. Come back to center, everybody. Unfold your legs. Good, and just to kind of finish up today, reach up, hold on to the outers of your feet. So in the beginning of class, we did one leg at a time. Now both legs, happy baby. Like this is technically happy baby. Bring your inner thighs towards your outer rib cage. Flex your feet, gently rocking from side to side. Right, just kind of roll through your lower back. Happy baby, roll through the lower back, massage your back muscles. And then bring your soles of your feet together just for a moment, like a Baddha Konasana variation. And then place your feet on the floor. And you're welcome to use a couple of blankets underneath your hips if you like. If you have push cushions or blankets, feel free. And let your palms face up, away from your body. Fingers gently spreading apart, Shavasana. So everyone just get comfortable. Lying here, close your eyes, let your fingers gently spread apart. And this is the ultimate surrender, right? This is the part where all of our efforts help us to really let go gradually in layers. Deeply exhaling just to let yourself settle and gradually become still. So everyone just try to bring your mind into focus with your fingers and your toes. And when you're ready, bend your knees and roll to your side. Let your head rest on your arm. Just take your time to transition to your side. And then slowly rise up to have a seat. And we'll sit with our legs in Sukhasana, hands on top of our thighs. And just close your eyes for a brief moment and pause. I want you just to sit quietly for a moment, just embracing that stillness that you were able to cultivate in your Shavasana. Take a moment to exhale in. And let's bring our palms together. We'll close with Om, followed by Om Shanti. So slowly inhale. Om. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Namaste.